So it is currently 7 a.m. I woke up early to help a friend who's moving today, but it turns out that I don't need to be there for another hour because everyone else is going to be there late. So I decided that I have this workout footage I've been sitting on for more than a week, and I've been very diligent about not uploading consistently, which is it's meaning to say that I haven't been diligent, I haven't been consistent. But hopefully my gravelly voice and my monotone tone doesn't distract anyone from the main message that I'm trying to share. So today, I want to talk about weight loss again and about how I've gone down about 15 pounds since the beginning of the year. Now I'm up about 6 or 7 pounds from last week. The only reason why is because me and my brother were having a good week, living it up, and we went to several buffets just to have a few fun experiences before he moves out and goes back home. So we've been living together in this apartment for a while, but basically what I wanted to talk about is the idea that it's the composition of your body's weight that matters more than what the number is. So you can have what you deem to be a low and acceptable weight, but if not enough of that weight is composed of lean muscle mass, and if your lean muscle mass is not strong, it's not functional, it's not fit and healthy, then there's not really much point to having it. What I'm trying to explain here is that even though I went up about 6 or 7 pounds, those 6 or 7 pounds, what are they made of? And that's the question you should ask. So whenever you gain weight or lose weight, you have to ask yourself realistically, what was that weight? Where did it come from? What does it consist of? So if you can say confidently that, like, for example, I am around 290 right now, and I go to the gym, a few times a week. I play volleyball, I'm running and jumping and stuff like that. If you can confidently say that you are mobile and you have effective use of your body at a certain weight, I think that's like the baseline of being able to say that you're generally healthy. I don't think I'm extremely healthy, I just think I'm healthy enough. But my goal is to be more explosive, more powerful, more athletic. And so while I can do these things, I would be able to do them way better if I had less weight on my frame. The only way I got to this point, though, I guess, by the way, today's a squat day, and what I did is I focused on, a wider stance squat. I'm wanting to work on my hip strength and mobility. I'm wanting to work on, I guess, keeping a stricter form as I squat without letting my lower back go bad, or without letting anything start to cave in. That was a super random detail, but basically, like, I really want to work on my squat, and I want it to look like it's effortless, even when I'm squatting at a high weight. But all I was gonna say about the weight gain and weight loss is that you have to have the muscle mass first, or else your body will not relinquish the fat. Fat storage is a survival mechanism, and if your body is not confident in your capability to produce nutrition, as in you going out and getting it, your body is in some kind of survival mode, fighting for any semblance of existence it can muster. So the most important thing to realize about your body, and this is why you should never hate your body is doing its best, is that whatever state you're currently in, even if you think you're in a bad shape or if you think you're in a good one, this is your body's best chance at survival. Your body has constructed itself in a way that is optimal for survival. So if you're sitting here, if you're listening to this video, and you have a lot of extra fat around your stomach, around your hips, thighs, whatever, and you're unhappy about that, you have to realize that based on the input, like the stimulus that you've given your body thus far in life, this is your body's responses about how you could survive at this point. If you were to go without food for a few days and you needed to survive, that's why you have all that fat. But let's say that you're able to get into better shape, you're able to start eating a lot more protein and stuff like that. Your body is going to be able to recognize that we have a viable source of nutrition now. I don't have to store all this fat anymore. And that's when the fat starts to leave, is after you've built the muscle mass, after you've sustained that. Because building muscle is biologically very expensive, but once you have it built, it's easier for your body to maintain and it requires less energy input. So basically you want to get to a point where you've built a lot of muscle and you've been building consistently for, like, let's say, like 6 months. At that point, you're able to transition to a phase where you can then reduce the body fat you have on your body, And then at that point, then you can do whatever you want. If you want to get more athletic and explosive like me, you can do that. You want to keep getting stronger, you can do that. You want to look more aesthetic, so you start losing a little bit more weight, even more weight, and then you cut like your fat to kind of like a suboptimal level, and you start getting a six-pack and stuff. That's up to you to do that. I don't think it's the healthiest thing. But anyways, that's kind of like my thoughts about the weight loss process, is that you can gain weight, but you can lose weight, you can gain it back, and even if you gain it, you can also lose it. It's like it's a process that's made easier once you have a decent amount of lean muscle mass. So anyways, what I'm doing here is I'm doing my goal PR, which is around 350 or 345, I think, and this is basically like my attempt at helping my body to prepare itself to adjust to a higher weight. In the middle of this, I had this dude come up to me. I've seen him a few times in the gym. We talked a little bit. He's an awesome guy, and this is what I was trying to get at. My point I wanted to share here is to recommend that you go up to anyone who looks more experienced than you, or that looks like more capable than you in the gym, and ask them for advice, or just make a friend out of them. You never know if they can help you down the road. But yeah, basically, like, I'm doing this to brace my core, my hips, my lower back, and everything, so that way, by the time I get to the PR, I've already felt it before without even having to squat it. This is a great exercise, and after this, my legs and hips were toast. And then I went on to do some more not body weight, more barbell squats, and I was only doing like let's say 60%, and it was challenging at that point. But I am noticing a difference, and now that I'm like starting to lose weight, and I'm wanting to be more athletic for like not just for volleyball, but for the sake of being able to perform a lot of more athletic things, I'm realizing I have to lift a little bit less. I don't know if I want to say a lot less. I have to lift less and be more specific in my lifting to do things that will be beneficial to that sport or whatever movements that I do in that sport. One thing I've been doing a lot is walking backwards on the treadmill, and this is to build up the ligaments and tendons and this whatever in my knee, and get them in better condition. I guess improving and promoting joint health in my knees, because a lot of jumping and stuff like that, especially with partial flexion. So like the way you jump in volleyball is like you're barely flexing your hips, barely flexing your knees, and all the weight and the force of that goes directly onto your joints when you jump and when you land. So you're not like going into a full squat and jumping. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. But so you have to figure out, how do I strengthen my knees in that position? And the answer is walking backwards. It's a really great exercise and really strengthening for knees, for the, I guess, the lower quad muscles, the ones that attach to your knees. So yeah, anyways, now it's time to transition. I guess I have a spiritual thought I want to share. And this is a thought about Job. This is a story in the Bible of a man who was, in the Bible it says he was perfect before God. And I'm assuming perfect has some kind of meaning in the original Hebrew that has been lost on us in English, because in our language, we understand that no one is perfect, although the Bible says that Job was. So let's assume that he was faithful. Let's assume that he kept the commandments and was God-fearing. But yet God allowed for him to be tempted and also allowed for him to be stricken. And so Satan was able to take away everything that he had, because Satan wanted to prove to God that Job would leave him and he would curse him if he didn't have all the blessings that God had given him. Through this process of losing everything, Job goes through a lot of grieving, a lot of questioning, and a lot of trouble that basically causes him to get to that point almost. But every time he's almost there, something stops him and he doesn't curse God. He decides to continue to be faithful. I don't know if Job is a real person, and even if he was, it doesn't matter. The story is still a lesson for us to learn. I think that Job is an example of what could happen hypothetically if God were to allow Satan to have dominion over us in this life and control. Like, Satan didn't even have full control. He only did exactly what God let him do. And that's the whole point, is that God is in complete control of Satan, and Satan is in complete submission to God. And so if anything happens to you in your life, you have to understand that Satan would rather, he wishes he could do more. He wishes he could inflict more pain on you, but he only does what God lets him. So then you got to ask the question, it begs the question, well, why does God even allow that to happen? What can be learned through suffering that can't be learned through simply living in peace and prosperity all the time? It's just a fundamental question of our existence. I believe that that the hypothetical, like the lesson we're supposed to learn, is that most of us are not like Job. We don't have to go through so many hard things all at the same time. And even if we did, God would be there for us and he would help us and he would spare us from the worst of it. So even though Job got a pretty bad card or a bad hand dealt to him, Satan would have preferred to do worse to Job, but he was not allowed to. So I guess that's the thought for today, is that God only lets Satan do what he allows him to do, and then it's always in a way where God can help it to be for your growth and learning. So thank God for that Satan isn't able to do everything he wants to destroy you. So yep, remember that today as you go about whatever you're doing, and stay strong, keep going, keep your head up, and everything will be all right. That's all I have to say for today.